With the announcement that the galaxy's greatest bounty hunter is getting his own show, we can start to speculate on what is to come. In a previous video, where I break down the post-credit scene of the Mandalorian Season 2 finale, I predicted that in this new series, we will see Mace Windu return. It may seem a little far-fetched, but with Luke's return in The Mandalorian, anything is possible at this point in time. Keep in mind that everything in this video is speculation and theory, so it could end up being as accurate as Imperial propaganda. But before we get into how Mace Windu will return, we need to address why Mace Windu should return. As every fan of Star Wars knows, Mace Windu and Boba Fett have a complicated relationship. Ever since their paths crossed on Geonosis with the death of Boba Fett's father, Jango Fett, it is safe to say that Boba has held a grudge for the Jedi Master ever since. Watching his own father being decapitated must not have been an easy thing to see. If you've watched the Clone Wars show, you will also know that Geonosis was not the last time both of them would meet. At a young age, Boba infiltrated the Venator Class ship known as the Endurance in an attempt to assassinate Mace Windu. When the plan went south, Boba sabotaged the reactor core of the Venator Class, critically damaging it. But the attempted assassination did not end there. Among the wreckage of the Venator Class ship, Boba set a trap for Mace Windu using the helmet of Jango Fett to lure him in. However, it was actually Anakin Skywalker who triggered the trap, just to be saved in time by Mace Windu. Nonetheless, this ordeal left both jedis severely wounded. While Boba was eventually captured and placed in Republic prison, he would eventually escape and go on to make a name for himself in the galaxy. From there, the paths of Boba and Mace don't ever cross again, so we're not entirely sure if Boba has moved on from his need for vengeance. As we all know, Mace Windu by the end of the Clone Wars was presumably killed by Palpatine after Anakin severed his hand, which means that this plot thread and the character dynamic between the two is left unresolved, and without an appropriate conclusion. Given that in The Mandalorian we have seen how much Boba Fett idealizes his father and his father's legacy, having Mace Windu come back would reopen old wounds and explore Boba and Mace's characters more closely. Given how legendary both characters are in the Star Wars universe, it is only right that we as fans get the showdown we all deserve. I believe that both characters need to meet each other again in order to fulfill and complete their own individual arcs. So how will Mace Windu come back? There are numerous ways in which he could do so, and so there is a lot of creative room for Mace to make his comeback. That being said, if Mace were to make a comeback, it would raise a lot of plot questions, such as where was he during the events of the original trilogy? So what I think will happen is that Mace Windu, after surviving his fall in Coruscant and losing his hand, will probably begin to question his own resolve and beliefs. The failure to stop Palpatine will undoubtedly weigh heavily in his heart and perhaps cause him to reflect on his own past actions and decisions, all of which would perhaps cause him to withdraw from the Force and go into hiding. It is highly likely that Boba and Mace will meet at some point, and when they do, it will spur Boba on to hunt down the Jedi Master in order to avenge the death of his father.
I see now I've done terrible things. But you started when you murdered my father. I'll never forgive you.
Well, you're going to have to. Take him away.
So how would this impact Mace Windu? Well, Mace Windu would undoubtedly still remember him, and he would also recall that his actions had led Boba Fett down a path of revenge, and perhaps understanding the need to redeem himself for his past failures, he will try to defuse the situation and reason with Boba. However, Boba being filled with the need for revenge would continue to strike out, which results in an epic showdown. But I think both Mace and Boba will reconcile their past grievances with each other. with both sides coming to terms with their own past and understanding each other. But as of how that could occur, I will admit I am not entirely sure. So that is how I think Mace Windu will return. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe. As always, I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.